This is hard doing it as it is. Editing this. Good luck.
Banned, 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 banned. Gone forever.
I mentioned DSP's #1 fan, Derich, in my DSP video very briefly, but as I also mentioned in that video, there's a lot more to Derich that would warrant making a separate video just based on him. He is the Canadian cupcake lover in training.
I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake and then go back home. Nothing that was going to be sexual involved. Well, fist bump?
I'd say that Canadians should be worried.
Y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because...
Hey guys, Derich here.
However, and to our knowledge, he hasn't met up with any little girls. That we at least know of yet. I'm going to take a look at Derich as far as who he is as a person, how long he's suspected to have been a fan of Phil's, and what behaviors of his leave other viewers in DSP's chat uncomfortable, and try to understand why Phil protects him as much as he does. For those who brought up any kind of strikes and or takedowns for my DSP documentary, thank you all for your concerns. However, as DSP tries to claim things are taken out of context,
You always say things are out of context, but all the clips about you are legit uncut clips from your streams with no editing whatsoever. You have no clue what context means, do you?
and being slanderous towards him, it's not considered slander if he is the one saying it about himself, as if he truly does nothing wrong and says everything correct.
I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct.
What he said about himself was all true,
Just being honest. Just being completely and utterly honest.
so it can't be slander since he is the one pointing out factual observations
It is a factual observation. It was weird.
and spreading awareness of such facts.
Just spreading awareness. I really, like I said, I don't think any of that stuff is going to affect me negatively at all.
And that same idea will carry over to this video. And before going on any further, just as I mentioned in the DSP documentary I made, The Dark Side of Phil, link in the description for those of you who want to check it out, I am 100% sure that there's some points that I have missed on this individual prior to this video coming out. Some topics I maybe haven't been introduced to, but do remember, I made a 1 hour and 43 minute video discussing DSP, of which I started that after checking out over 100 hours of his content, and I ended up watching and listening to several hundreds of additional hours of his content, downloading at least 30 hours of his content, to then narrow down into the documentary that it ended up being, and still only had one editing mistake where the screen went black because of a clip visibility on Final Cut Pro was accidentally clicked off. What is the issue if his streams are slow? What is the issue if his streams are slow? Because my scatterbrain at that point was basically... And I'm making this video off of the back end of the DSP video, so please, do forgive me if I missed anything. All of the sources for what you'll be seeing in this video will be linked down in the description below. Make sure to go give them a subscribe and or follow to show support and help spread the needed awareness of these discussions onto others. Last thing, I want to make sure to make very clear, I don't have a psychology degree, and I will not be doing any armchair psychology on Derich as a whole because I'm not smart enough to speak on it with true credibility. I will speculate on certain things based on proven actions of what Derich has said. However, in my opinion, what I believe Derich is dealing with is much deeper and worse than the average viewer can understand, and the help that he needs would exceed anything that this video alone would be able to provide for him. With all that said, let's try to understand who Derich really is, and why DSP protects Derich so much from the reality that surrounds them both.
That's what I love about high school girls. I keep getting older, they stay the same age. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
I'm gonna make love to your asshole, children. Come on, children. You're my sexual fantasy.
FBI, open up!
You're going to jail.
Oh my god, yes!
I am in serious trouble with the feds.
What?
Oh, hell no!
Derek, thank you so much for the follow. Oh, sorry, Derich.
Derich is a fan of DSP, or Darkside Phil, and has been so for nearly 10 years now. he is a fan that has before given Phil support. And in Phil's own words,
it's going to probably be a slow night, right? Because what I mean by slow is contributions, all right?
But after some transactions where his parents found out that he was giving Phil money, that ended immediately.
QA had done a bunch of super chats here, one joking about stealing his mother's credit card, which isn't funny, by the way. You shouldn't make jokes like that.
However, he has remained a fan to Phil since then, making his way into and out of chat. This is where the casual discussion of getting to know Derich ends, and the disturbance in his character begins. Derich is different. Very different. He is both aware of how others think of him, while not caring to show who he really is. He just hates when people point it out, as he tends to use the victim card in the same manner that Phil does.
Derich guy, pissed me off a little bit.
Let's first take a look at his Twitter, as I refuse to call it X. I wish I could show you more than this, but look at the top tweet. His entire Twitter is this type of content.
My explosion of satisfaction.
With maybe a sprinkle of wrestling retweets here and there, but otherwise, it's just adult content. And what kind of adult content, you may ask? To put it lightly, the list of things that he seems interested in retweeting or discussing seems to have absolutely no limits. Literally. Now, I want to make something abundantly clear. I'm not one to judge if anyone has a kink that they enjoy, so long as they do so and it doesn't harm anyone else. Any and all persons involved have consented to their involvement, and whatever anyone does in the privacy of their own home is absolutely none of mine or anyone else's business, so long as you keep it that way. Private. However, once it's out there in the public, it's fair game. Just as many in the comments section of my DSP documentary, including myself, have speculated that some of Phil's regular viewers in Wales have to have a findom or financial domination fetish to continue being treated as horribly by Phil as they are stream after stream, yet still willingly give him money. There's a very, very, very fine line between something being a kink and something that gets you put on a watch list. I made the clip of DSP as Randy Marsh in South Park fapping to adult content for his video. However, Derich fits into that very character, but only seconds before, searching up the weirdest things to be excited about.
Japanese girls puke in each other's mouths. Now let's see some bestiality. Ah, yes. Oh, let's get some Brazilian fart porn in there. Oh, that's got it. Oh. Oh. Oh.
I'm talking scat play, puke play, choo-choo parties, armpits, bruising and abuse, spitting, double stuffs, golden showers. Honestly, the list would be significantly shorter of what he isn't interested in, instead of what gets him excited, as it seems that there's no limits to what makes his imagination run wild.
The limit does not exist.
Now, for the detractor community whom already know about Derich, I want you guys to subvert your expectations here, as I'm not going to go over every disturbing thing that he's ever said, because 1, I'm sure that would involve becoming on a watch list.
I'm watching you, always watching.
Because that rabbit hole is much worse than the one I had to be a part of to be able to make the DSP video, and arguably is in the realm of Chris Chan disturbing. And 2, it would literally be never ending for all the things that Derich has said to make anyone's skin crawl and question their own mental health. And I'm sure that some would now say, "You're a phony!" However, if you are interested in going down that rabbit hole, here are some places that you can go to check it out for yourselves. But proceed with caution. The Twitter accounts Derich Watch and Queen AV Hate, or Jasper Kitty, help to keep tabs on Derich. There's many more accounts. However, these are the 2 main ones that I use to be able to help make this video. And on YouTube, the video Derich, the King of Coom by Agent Proper, where he discusses so many of Derich's tweets in detail. Also, a lot of the Derich B-roll in this video is from Derich Watch YouTube channel. Again, all of this is going to be linked down in the description below. However, I will give a brief look into what you can expect to find on Derich's public Twitter account. Keyword public, meaning that if you have safe mode off, this is what you could expect to see immediately within his tweets. Let's ease into this with the less offensive things that he has said or done, because it will literally only get worse. He has expressed interest in living out fantasies, taken polls of various topics, nearly all of them are all sex-based, wished mattress actresses a great holiday, shouting out said stars for their kinky scenes, volunteering himself as tribute. The level of how horrendously down bad Derich is with his tweets, I made the video Stop Being a Simp for a reason, to try to help horrendously down bad dudes like this. And one of the funniest ones, with him saying that he is only 19 and wants to join the adult industry. However, for any of you guys who remember Flick from A Christmas Story, the kid who got double dog dared to stick his tongue onto a pole in the freezing cold of winter, actor's name is Scott Schwartz, and in the 1990s, he ended up actually joining the adult industry before quitting in 2000. He went from licking poles to pulling. So unfortunately, if desperate enough, anything is possible for Derich. Now again, that was a sampling of what you can expect in regards to the more tame tweets that he makes. Among his many fetishes, one that stands out is his obsession with wanting mattress actresses to say his name, and to say it appropriately.
Derich, thank you so much for the follow. Oh, here we go. Oh, sorry, Derich. Rich. Thank you, sorry about that.
And unfortunately, for these women, it seems to end up escalating into Derich becoming aggressive and demanding that they tell him to do things to himself, on top of just saying his name. His actions have drawn a lot of negative attention his way, with, allegedly, being requested by one of the women's representatives to stop viewing or interacting with her on cam streams, which led Derich to actually make a public apology video to her.
I wanted to apologize to Reese Robbins. I'm extremely sorry, and I wanted to tell Reese that she will always be one of my many favorite porn stars to watch.
And even making another cry because of how toxic he was acting towards her.
That Derich guy, like, pissed me off a little bit. I was talking to him, but, like, at a certain fucking point when you ask me, you got that? Like, bro, I'm fucking responding to the people that are tipping. Like, have some respect for them.
Additionally, he has absolutely no ability to be able to read the room.
There's a difference between, maybe trying to give someone the heads up on something, and someone who just, you don't get the hint, and it becomes borderline annoying and obnoxious. And you gotta understand that you gotta read the room sometimes, and know how to read the room in those situations.
As he has shown such a lack of respect for those who have passed on, and seemingly can't understand the severe level of disrespect in using the passing of someone else to be able to get attention to himself from these women. This has helped to bring more awareness to certain platforms, either blocking Derich completely from engaging with their site or their streamers, but also for those that he has interacted with, see him for how he really is.
To like girls and stuff, he was always on my Twitter being like, oh, I love how much you do this and this. I hope you collab with this and this. And then he had a YouTube playlist full of like playlists called like cute little girls. Yeah, like 20 playlists of just like kids on their YouTubes. Yeah, so there's 1,000 people are watching him.
It's truly pathetic to consider how, with the line of work that these women have chose to engage in, objectifying themselves, and in some cases, being involved in what many consider disgusting kinks or acts, to whom want to appeal to their simps in a similar manner of how the hot tub streamers do to their own simps, especially on the gateway site for camgirls in training, Twitch. How bad does Derich have to act towards them to have either themselves or their representatives tell Derich to no longer engage or contact them whatsoever? If that wasn't enough, we'll now move on to what are arguably Derich's worst aspects. What so many actually hate him for. And equally speaking, DSP blatantly disregards about his adopted son. We have seen some of the women in the adult industry whom Derich is fond of. Keyword adult. However, that word is not a boundary or limitation for him, but more so just a category amongst the rest that he is shown to be interested in.
It's more what you'd call guidelines than actual rules. What
takes Derich's kinks past extremes and into legal troubles? He enjoys watching little girls. Little girls as in minors, while he himself is an adult. And this isn't one of those cases of an 18-year-old dating a 16-year-old while still being in high school type of situations. This is a person who is considered a legal adult, over 18, whom had playlists on YouTube about little girls dancing. And allegedly, some videos even showed more than that. I will not elaborate on that, but I'm sure that you can figure it out. And this wasn't just something that he did on YouTube. Oh no, he had different Instagram accounts, one main and a few burners, or as Phil would call them, sock accounts.
If you'll notice, they're all sock accounts.
Where he would follow young little girls. The majority ran by the parents of said little girls, and Derich would even comment on the photos and videos. This is worse than those whom had countdowns of Emma Watson's, Catch Me Outside idiots, and beyond surgically enhanced Jenner's 18th birthdays, counting down to when they would become legal and they'd be fair game. And to this day, it still shocks me that some dudes literally said that. Derich is following these little girls on social media, not just as they change into becoming an adult, but when they are changing as they're going through puberty. Let that sink in. Aquateal, of whom if you aren't already doing so, go check out her channel and make sure to jump into her streams to add to the roast of Pig Roach. She has a signature song play when Derich enters the chat.
Derich, have a good night.
Have a good night, pedophile.
Glad you have me here for the end game, though, Secret Life. Glad to have all of you here.
However, when I first started learning of Derich's childish activities, what lyrics I thought of were, of which the real girl in that song, Sharona Alperine, was 17 when the song was wrote, and this must have been where Tyga got his inspiration from when dating Kylie Jenner, because Doug wrote the song about her when he was 26, and she toured with the band during the peak of the song's popularity. And once she finally turned 18, they ended up dating for a few years. However, I highly doubt that Derich will ever feel any touch aside from Jill. Who is Jill? Well, that's easy. You have J-I-L-L, Jill. So if you know anybody that's questionable that says they're dating someone named Jill, that's quite handy information to have. In the same manner that 2 people's a twosome and 3 people's a threesome, if they're told that people always tell them they're very handsome, there is a reason for that. If you ever find yourself having a sad and lonely night, box of tissues and Jill will hold you tight, fix you up right.
You don't understand is I make love to my hand. I beat my dick like it owes me money.
And another song that fits Derich perfectly.
Cash or credit. Checked my phone and saw you read. A song comes on that reminds me of you. My alarm goes off. Open my window and a breeze rolls in. I just ate a grape and I shizzed in my pants.
And I'm really not trying to make this into a joke. However, this is how I legit picture Derich on a daily basis.
Hello, cutie pie.
There's apparently a list for what makes Derich's blood flow, and upon looking at this and understanding that this is just the first part of the list, he's showing that he really is a Ray Shremmer fan. He ain't got a type, doesn't even have to be bad bitches, doesn't have to be young, old, male, female, or somewhere in between. Doesn't matter about any of that, because if you have a heartbeat and a hole, you're apparently his type.
Hole's a hole. Hole's a hole.
To make things worse, Derich even brought these antics to DSP's chat. Thinking that he was on a different browser tab, he had typed the title of a video in chat, and for some reason, Phil either doesn't care or just simply allows it. Even when Phil was finally finishing up his playthrough of Chrono Tipper, watching it through Aquateal's restream, Derich mentioned making DSP a tier maker list, which is terrifying to think about because what playlist would he make? Which one of the Cuties movies actresses was his favorite? Or which are his favorite adult stars? And again, no discrimination between male and female, just adult stars in general. He isn't Westside Live, whom had done such tier makers in the past. However, his were done in a tasteful manner.
Not putting my channel on the line for you.
The actresses that he was ranking were all adults. And the hardest part for Wes seemed to be just finding photos of them with actual clothes on. Make sure to go check out Westside Live's channel.
He's hilarious.
Derich is not part of my family. You think you're funny. You're a jackass.
Now that we generally understand who Derich is, we need to try to start digging into the main question of this video. Aside from why Derich isn't behind bars yet, but why does DSP defend him as much as he does? For transparency, this next part is completely based on speculation, but I'm sure that there is some truth buried deep in this next discussion, but neither Phil nor Derich will ever openly or willingly admit to any of this. Phil has gone out of his way to defend Derich, to the point that many make the joke that Derich is DSP's adopted son, because he talks about him in a manner that resembles a parent talking with their child. Granted, Derich has been involved with DSP's livestreams since at least 2015, 8 years at this point, and Derich is 21 now, so this will make him around 13 when he initially started watching DSP's videos and livestreams. DSP himself has admitted that his content is curated for a very niche, specific audience.
I'm basically making content for a direct audience. I'm catering basically for them. I'm making curated content, which is exactly what they want for them. But this is not content that's going to appeal to the mainstream.
And back in the day, he was targeting kids as they were the main viewers on YouTube at the time, according to Phil. But now, apparently, Phil has said that he is not a child's entertainer like he used to be.
I don't want to be an entertainer, a cosplayer. How are you going to have a lot of
Hilarious laughs at a live react if someone acts like a Muppet?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Halloween 2021. Anyone want a cookie? When I get scared, I eat cookies.
If someone literally sits there and every single time something is revealed, they go, oh, ah, what? Oh, ah, and every time something scary happened or even pretend to happen, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah. I do not do, wow, 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 guys, whoa, I don't do any of that stupid shit. You know, I don't, it's not me as a human. I don't do dumb reactionary shit like that usually. Ah! Ah! I'm at a baseball game! Blah! Blah! Help! Hop, 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 and hop, and hop, 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 and hop, 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 with this place. Please allow me to take the lead. Boxy Elephant asks, why am I obsessed with butts and poop? I'm not. How is you putting on glasses or a vest or a hat not acting like a Muppet? On my pre-stream / podcast today, I talked about how I'm different. I don't play a character on my streams, right? You know, when I started on YouTube way back when, it was all about being a character. It was about over-exaggerating. It was about being dramatic. It was about saying the risque thing that's going to get people talking. What did Darkside Phil say in his playthrough today? Are you kidding me? I can't believe he said that. That to me, it's genuinely me giving you my opinions, my thoughts on a game when I play it. They're used to me giving an intelligent summary and opinion. Would you rather have an in-depth, intelligent analysis of what's going on rather than someone just acting like an idiot for clickbait views? I don't play dress up. I don't dye my hair. I don't put on sunglasses and a fake mustache and a fucking vest to look like I'm a fucking fake reject G.I. Joe. You know, I don't look like a cartoon character with frosted hair and shit like that. Someone literally who plays a character to entertain children. Much better. To try to attract children to their streams. Hood? Yeah, it has a hood. Look. I'm ready to game, bro. Who's ready? Come on, who's ready? Who's ready? I'm ready. Cold duties. Gotta play my duties tonight. Here we go. Let's play. So that they can beg their parents to contribute. Okay. Complex wording to the super chat. So me and my friends love watching you play dress up. Wear 11? Wear 11? 11 what? What do you want me to wear 11 of? I don't know. Anyway. Thank you, complex wording for the super chat. If you don't understand the difference between someone who actively acts up like a cartoon character to try to get children to watch their content versus what I do, you're a moron. And you don't deserve anyone's time. You're just a fucking idiot and you need help. Where they're continuously acting up, acting like a cartoon, screaming.
Ooh, I gotta eat it. Gotta eat it. Gotta eat the hype. Oh, look at that. Oh, the light. I bet we still lost. We still lost.
Overact, exaggerating, acting like a character. And it's the only way they can get attention, right? Versus someone who just is being real. You know? A little different. I don't think that teenagers would enjoy my content at all anymore. Back in the day, absolutely. Why? Because my commentary back in the day was all immature. It was sex jokes, cock and ball. Cock and ball. The name of the side mission is Cock and Ball. Open the doors of oblivion. Nipple laser attack. Yes, it has nipple lasers.
Is that the spoiler DSP that it has nipple lasers?
It was racial jokes. La la la. La la la. Look out, there's a black woman coming. Ah! She takes them both out. Boom! Steals the backpack and runs away. Oh!
But the wow, I am black and I'm good at basketball. Look at the stylish layup, yeah.
I'm black. I put guns on my ass, son. Now watch this. Boom, boom. Side shooting, motherfucker.
Oh, doesn't that just look so delicious? Ugh, looks like fucking vomit on a plate, dude. Oh! That's what they eat over there?
It's 100 identical Chinese. We are in the same gang, so we wear the same baseball cap. Oh, he knows that. You have Intel does? Oh, would you like to give me some cocaine? Please give me cocaine. Hero. Hero. Hero, hero, hero.
I don't like Asian chicks.
Oh wait, I'm Chinese.
Yes, Jiggy Chang Wang. Jeez, I swear to God, you Jews, you Mexicans, you Asians are so demanding, you drive me nuts.
Please understand. Fuck you. We don't like customer. Suck our big Japanese cocks.
And the fanboys would come out and say, oh, that's great. We love sucking Japanese cocks.
All right, boys. Prepare the slave trade. We're selling her right off for profit.
Right, she's too valuable to escape. She's worth lots of money. I look nothing, act nothing, and am nothing like Review Tech USA. I am not involved with that man whatsoever. I don't know. Just because I'm white and I'm a streamer doesn't mean I'm the same as every other white streamer, just so you know. I'm very different. Okay, I know maybe Maybe you got me confused with other white people. Maybe you think we all look the same or something. I'm not sure. I hate this shit. This shit seriously, like, it pisses me off and disturbs me because I hate racism. You know, I joke about it all the time in my playthroughs. I'll make racist jokes, but I really hate real racism. This shit pisses me off. It was stupidity, right? And I did that on purpose because when I started on YouTube, that was the general audience, all right? But over the last 15 years that I've been on YouTube, I've evolved and changed as a person and a creator. You guys allow me to do it the way I want to do it. I have not, in the 15 years that I've been a YouTuber, I have not had to change any of my method. I've not had to change the format of my videos, right? To change it so I can't do long form gameplay anymore, but instead I have to do different kinds of stuff. Basically I've stayed true to myself. I'm not making that kind of content anymore. I've purposefully changed who I am and what I make to have more meaning to my specific audience who actually know who I am and what I stand for. Roblox King, to me $1. He says, you don't entertain children, but I'm a kid. Should I not watch? You're not a kid, actually, because you would not legally be able to contribute via a tip if you were a kid. So you're a liar. Thank you for the $1 tip. Okay.
For adult humor. You've got sex jokes. You've got fart jokes, scat humor, nasty, really gruesome style stuff.
How ironic that he mentioned scat humor. And he wants kids to pay for his curated content that he makes, or at least made prior, specifically for them?
I want to be rewarded for the work that I do because you like the content I put out that's curated for you, and you reward me by supporting it via crowdfunding. That's the relationship we have.
And with his claims of how influential he has been in his past,
I'm a prominent public figure on the internet. There was a time when I would put out a video about something going on in the US government, like SOPA or PIPA. The video would go viral and get hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of views. People who never heard about the subject matter before would be informed and actually go call their congressman. Yes, that's how influential I was on YouTube.
It makes sense to believe that he potentially influenced Derich a bit when it comes to his mentality and humor. Especially because Derich has started incorporating some of what DSP does on his streams, now doing the same things with the women that he watches. For example, saying that they did so well with their scenes that they deserve a drink of water. Sounds good?
Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
He even said sounds good in DSP's chat too. And for any of you guys that don't get the correlation, Phil is always drinking seltzer water. Derich has also apparently helped to make some of DSP's artwork that he uses in his pre-stream slides, according to one of his playlists that he had on YouTube. However, all these playlists have either been deleted or made private, as you can no longer go to his YouTube channel to be able to verify the current existence of these playlists. Thank God screenshots exist, because once something is on the internet, it's no longer yours and it's there forever. Which makes sense, being that DSP is no stranger to letting his fans, no matter the age, do the work for him to be able to use to his monetary advantage. Such as how DSP used Arkham Edit's YouTube shorts and Best Game of the Year tier maker on his YouTube channels.
Special shout out to Arkham, who's the person who had put that together.
But when Arkham asked for future payment on continued work, DSP completely banned him and got rid of the YouTube shorts, but kept the tier maker since it was doing well with views on his React channel, and that channel barely gets any views as it is. And Arkham Edits was only 15 at the time. There's always been a questionable dynamic with DSP's home life. Recent guesses have been that Kat left him, that they're getting a divorce. However, the one that continues to stick is that Kat is downstairs crying to Tyrone about DSP, and Phil is just too naive to see what really is going on.
Oh my god!
But the dynamic between DSP and Derich is much more interesting. Derich is a regular in the chat during his streams. However, for as much attention as he gets from DSP, he never supports Phil in the manner that Phil expects the rest of his audience to do so.
Alright, we're going to get started soon, guys. It would be great if you could support the stream tonight in any way. Any kind of contribution is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to support my final stream of the week, please do in any way. I will give you a shout out. Last chance, if you'd like to support the stream in any way, I would appreciate it.
DSP claims that people unjustifiably hate on Derich, to the point that chat themselves will call it his spamming behavior and how uncomfortable people are that Derich is there. DSP then lectured his chat as though they're the ones that are in trouble and need to understand how it works with Derich.
Mishael, seriously, what are you bitching about? He says, why have rules? Listen, if someone breaks the rules and they need to be talked to, they will. I've talked to Derich about it before, that sometimes I feel like sometimes Derich spams a bit, right? Right now, he hasn't been overly spamming the chat. It's just people don't like him for some reason, and then they try to fucking harass him. So, stop. Hey. Stop harassing him. Alright? Seriously. You're fucking being stupid.
And DSP Prior has also answered a question regarding if he does find Derich annoying.
Does Derich ever get on my nerves? Admittedly, everyone has a chance to get on my nerves if it's a bad day. I would say the only time that Derich can sometimes get on my nerves is if he overly talks about wrestling a lot, and he's constantly mentioning it. And I tell him I don't really care about wrestling that much anymore. but he does seem to really love it and talk about it on my streams a lot. I don't mind talking about it every once in a while. But overall, if he's just mentioning it constantly, yeah, sometimes it can get on my nerves. Derek, I see what you're saying. Yes, I see what you're saying about flow. Derek, I'm doing a video game playthrough. Why would I stop playing Sonic in the middle of the playthrough to comment on that? Right? Honestly, I understand. So someone in the FGC from back in the day has passed away at the age of 39. It's sad. Sad to hear. But I'm not going to stop and interrupt the entire playthrough to talk about that. You know? That's something that, like, in between parts or during a podcast or, you know, I'm not going to derail the gameplay stream to talk about that. All right?
Maybe the reason that Derich spams DSP's chat and wants his name pronounced correctly with him is just as Duke to Go said. Maybe DSP is just another cam girl to Derich. It makes sense as Derich won't pay for a membership to DSP's channel, only hopes that someone will eventually gift him one.
It really annoys me. So every once in a while we get someone who's generous. They'll come to this channel and they'll gift a bunch of stuff. Maybe they'll drop like a ton of memberships, right? Just because someone did that once doesn't mean that you should sit around the chat talking about it constantly and expecting it. Like some people literally this moment just said, oh, well, I hope that so-and-so from last month comes back and just gifts everyone memberships again. No. No. And by the way, if they just happen to show up and they're hanging out on a stream, you shouldn't fucking bother them for a gifted membership either. How obnoxious are you, right? That just because someone is a benefactor or someone's nice, trying to be a philanthropist around here and be nice to people, doesn't mean that now you have a license to bother them and pester them for free shit, all right? No, because you notice, I don't do that, and I'm the one who directly benefits, and I don't do it. So if I don't do it, what gives you the right to do it? So don't do it. It's against the rules to sit around and say, man, I really hope that so-and-so comes and gifts a bunch of shit. Yeah, well, I really hope you shut the fuck up before I ban you from the chat because we don't want to hear you being like that. That's very ungrateful and very, very not the spirit of giving that these people, you know, should really be having. You should be grateful for the fact that you got something nice instead of demanding it again the next month. That's ridiculous, you know?
It's the same way that he refuses to pay for the cam streams that he enjoys and resorts to using broken links to be able to view the streams, which was part of what left him to being kicked off of Cherry Pimps. DSP never hesitates to come to Derich's side and make sure that he is protected from the rest of his audience.
I'm in a heartfelt moment with my audience here, all right? So here's the deal. I have noticed an element on my streams recently, all right? Here's what it is. My trolls, slash haters, slash detractors, slash whatever the hell you want to call them, all right? I think they've finally come to a realization that all the nonsense that they've thrown at me doesn't work, okay? So rather than try to throw stuff at me, they seem to be redirecting their ire towards the viewers. So for example, because Derich just brought it up, he says, you know, I'm upset because last week, people kept saying a certain video, I had nominated that video for DSP versus the internet. But I didn't nominate any videos. I lost my membership. I don't have a gifted membership over there anymore. Well, Derich, the reason they're doing it is to piss you off. You understand? Like, that's why they're doing it. They know you didn't nominate the video, but they're trying to get your go. And the thing is with these kind of people, the moment that you give them even a piece of recognition to say, I acknowledge that you're saying this about me, that's what they wanted. That's exactly what they're looking for. They're looking to get your attention and to waste your time, and they get some kind of a real weird feeling of self-worth out of thinking, wow, I actually impacted someone today in a negative way. I wasted someone's time. I annoyed them. They actually feel like confirmation that they did something today. You understand? When you're a loser, this is what you do. You sit on the internet and you harass other people because you have nothing going on in your life for yourself. So you got to bring down others around you to feel good about yourself. This is one of the ultimate lowest forms of existence on planet Earth. Essentially, you have no existence. You don't have a life. You're a loser. You just sit there wasting your life away instead of doing something productive. If they actually stepped outside of their little troll zone and actually had a spark of intelligence in their fucking brain, the synapse exploded in their brain, say, oh, I could actually do something positive with my life. Let me get up from this toxic thing that I type on and go do something with my life. But some of them, sadly, they're not that smart. They think that that's the use of their life. All right, guys, if you are going to sit here and complain, I'm just going to ban all of you. The people who are sitting here, you're way more derailing, sitting here bitching, than the person you're complaining about derailing. In fact, I'm just going to get rid of this guy here. And I'm going to get rid of this guy here. So fuck off. Okay.
Having a rules for thee, not for me mentality when it comes to Derich versus his actual paying audience. Only they need to follow the rules.
Fools. Huh. You arrogant asshole.
However, Derich hasn't just become known to DSP's chat, it's now become incredibly widespread about DSP's #1 superfan. In his interview with the Side-Scrollers, because a lot of the discussions were about how Phil uses his audience for financial gain, but not accepting money from Keemstar, Craig started discussing the idea to DSP about accepting money from someone who, in his chat, had seemed very nice and engaging, however, on other platforms, is a rather disturbed person.
Well, so how do you square the idea of not taking Keemstar's money, but taking it from your audience, who you may not know, maybe they're slinging crack, maybe your audience, you don't know where that money's coming from, right? They may be getting it morally in a way that you may not agree with morally. How do you square yourself with that? Maybe that I think everybody, if you have a sizable audience online, you deal with people who are favorable people, and you also have some unfavorable people in your audience, right? And they may get money from other ways. So how do you square that in your brain with Keemstar versus unknown money?
I don't equate the two. Like, Keemstar money is, I'm taking money for a direct project that apparently is going to be a long-term business relationship with this guy. I'm associating myself with a guy who I don't respect, don't like the content he puts on the internet, versus people who watch me, like who I am, like what I stand for, want to support that effort to keep it going. My crowdfunders are the people who allow me to do this for a living 15 years later. I'm a small-time guy, but I can still make a living doing it while others of my size can't, because of the amount of support that I get, and I appreciate that so much. They know that. I tell them every day, thank you so much for allowing me to keep doing what I feel is meaningful for you guys, and what you tell me is meaningful every day. But here's the thing, and this is an interesting point. As someone who's crowdfunded, mostly, it's mostly income coming in from streams, ad revenue from people watching ads, all of that. This is a question for you guys too, I guess. This is interesting.
Sure.
Can you be held accountable for your viewership? Correct? Like, for example, right now, the G2s. Mm-hmm. I would hope that they're all upstanding individuals, right? You always want that, but you don't know what they're all doing, right?
Sure.
Do you micromanage your G2s and say, well, there's someone who's nice on my stream and they come by every day, and I just found out, I went to their Twitter to find out that they're a horrible person. They say racist things on their Twitter all the time. If someone came to you and said that, would you say, oh, I gotta ban them from my community now because they say things on their own personal Twitter?
No, that's censorship.
Yeah, that's censorship, and I don't agree with that either. But I do think that it starts and stops with expectations, right? Your expectations, and it starts with leadership, right? Whether you like it or not, I think that you are the leader of your community. You are the people that everyone looks to on how somebody should act, how somebody should interact with other people in your chat. How you are the flag bearer of how what the community should be like, right? So I think ultimately your community emulates the host. And
that being said, I do say I absolutely understand not wanting to go into business with someone that you don't respect.
Yes,
I personally know many different people that are very successful that I don't respect, and I couldn't be happier not working with them. Right?
Exactly.
That
is exactly
real
my
ones. No.
There with Keem.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
So let's kind of. Okay, let's kind of dig into this a little bit, right? So where's the line, right? When you have, let's just say you have a community member that you know via their Twitter, let's just say they are selling coke, right? They're selling illegal drugs, whatever. Don't you want to be like, hey man, like I'm not into that. Like there's visual evidence of them doing something bad or at least alluding to something negative, something that would be shunned in a normal society, right? But you know they're a part of your community, and once again they're coming into their community potentially bleeding that into the community. I don't think you censor them, but maybe have a conversation about it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's a line of, is it influencing you and your content in your community or not? So I think we're going towards a certain topic. I don't know if there's a particular person you may be referencing, Craig.
I'm not going to reference any specific community members. That's not okay. What this is not about. This is not about specific community members. We're here to talk to you.
Unfortunately, that conversation never circled back for DSP to be able to answer it, but you can tell that DSP had a specific person in mind, and odds are, it was about Derich. And the way the DSP was trying to lean into that topic was quite telling of that. In a different Side Scrollers interview, where Craig was talking to Keemstar, Derich decided to join the chat, and Keemstar was very quick to acknowledge him.
I'm looking in the chat real quick, and they mentioned one of DSP's biggest fans is in the chat. One of his biggest. Sorry, I just totally off topic. Yep. But I'm just staring at the chat.
Derek IP's in the house.
Do you have a message for Derich, one of his biggest fans?
I do want to talk to Derek. I do desperately want to talk to Derek. A lot of questionable stuff that you put on social media. You don't have to talk to me, but I will. I will be talking about you no matter what.
Okay, so just look out. Look out for I guess the best question is, Derek, do me a favor. You can email me, or you can, and I will, or whatever, and I'll make sure to get a hold of Keem for you if you don't feel comfortable leaving your stuff. So I will facilitate that, because I would love to see that conversation to see what happens.
DSP is always quick to deflect ideas that he either doesn't agree with or wants to avoid entirely, but simply blaming that it's detractor content that is giving a particular idea or topic a bad reputation.
Yeah, for some reason, because people follow detractors. That's why. So how about this? If you want to follow detractor drama, get the fuck out of my stream and don't come back, because I don't care about any of that. Just slow down. I'm not gonna sit here and hate on a stream chatter because you idiots follow detractor shit on the internet because you're a bunch of little immature bitch fucking drama queens. Leave your drama out of my fucking stream. If you bring it up again, you're out permanently. Don't care who the fuck you are. You're not allowed to derail my stream with your drama. Idiots. Shut the fuck up.
However, Phil has proven that he is actually aware of what is being said about Derich past the surface level. He has acknowledged that he knows what the cherry emotes in his chat stand for.
Re-up this membership for 5 months. It says the cherry emote seems harmless. It is not. I'm just telling you, it's a disgusting meme, and it should not be used. And if it's used, you will be banned. And I'm saying it outright. No other justification is required. There's your answer. It's my stream, my decision. Don't do it.
They are a reference to Derich's favorite campsite to visit, Cherry Pimps, of which he has now been banned from. And DSP saying that he not only knows of the reference, but it's also very disgusting, shows that DSP may play dumb, but he is very aware of Derich's behavior away from his streams, with some viewers even going out of their way to tell Phil about Derich's Twitter. But DSP wants nothing to do with addressing that whatsoever.
Alright, so now your average viewer now just earned themselves a permanent ban for trying to harass other people in the chat. Alright? You are an idiot and you're permanently gone. So much for your membership and so much for your super chat. You're already permanently banned. That was like a record. I mean, that was maybe 2 minutes. Wow. Like, I literally said at the beginning of this stream tonight, for those who are watching on demand, you weren't here for it. I said, if you harass other viewers in any way, shape, or form, you will be banned. This is not a place where you can sit here and ban people or harass people. This is supposed to be anyone who comes and watches my content, supports it in any way, this is not supposed to be, now we're going to single you out and harass you online. No, absolutely not. And if I see it, you're gone. So I just banned 2 people, and I'll continue to do it because it's the same group of idiots who just do it anyway.
And let's not forget the Trader Joe's tacos reference that took a bit for DSP to finally catch on to.
Peaches. You tasted like a peach last night.
Showtime, who did a $2 super chat, says, do you enjoy delicious Trader Joe tacos? I have never had any tacos from Trader Joe's. I don't even know what that means. Do they have frozen tacos or something? I've never had Trader Joe's tacos, so I cannot comment on those. Showtime. I'm sorry. Oh, really? This taco thing makes fun of Derich now? You guys are fucking losers. I mean, can I say this officially? If you make fun of any stream chatter, Derich or otherwise, you're a fucking loser. What is your life? You sit on a streamer's stream, you pick on someone who's in the chat? Like, how low can you be? Like, look at your own fucking life, you fucking loser. You're gonna sit there and make fun of someone online who you don't know, doesn't do anything to hurt you, just because it makes you feel better about yourself, right? You're the loser. You're way worse than anything that these people have ever done on the internet if all you do is sit around trying to make fun of them and bring them down. Like, what the fuck is your problem? Pathetic. You're low level life. And you should really think about improving your life and doing positive things with your life instead of trying to hurt others. And the thing is, you do this all the time, and I don't know what these memes mean because I'm a positive streamer. I'm not focusing on your toxic shit, on your fucking restreams and your fucking Discord servers and your Reddit threads and your fucking nonsense. You're gross people. Really, every one of you who would make fun of someone like that, you're a disgusting individual, and you really should spruce it up. Take a look at yourself in the mirror and realize you're no fucking amazing paragon of existence on this planet either. You also have flaws. Maybe you should work on yourself and stop worrying about everyone else. Leave everyone the fuck alone and just fucking mind your own business. Because it ain't gonna fly on my stream. If I see people getting harassed, you're just out of here. And I'm just not putting up with bullshit. I'm tired of this shit. People coming to my stream, and this is gonna be your way to sneak diss someone and something. Fuck off. Really, grow up. What the fuck's your problem? I'm 41 years old. I have no time for children on my stream who are gonna be nasty to others. This is supposed to be a place where we're all having fun with games, we're enjoying ourselves companies, and not fucking being dicks to each other. You want to be a dick? There's 5 million other fucking streams where all they do is make fun of people constantly. They're toxic fucking cesspools of shit. Go swim in the shit toilet and get off my fucking stream. How about this? I'm going to give you all a big recommendation. You ready for this? Leave Derich's name out of your fucking mouth. Derich's not here. He's not affecting anyone in a negative way. Shut the fuck up. If I see you talking about him, I'm just going to fucking cock slap you with an assy-coat penis off the stream forever. Because I'm tired of hearing it. I really am. Like, how much of a loser can you fucking be? Shut the fuck up about him. No one cares. You're obsessed. You're the weirdo. Obsessed with this one chatter. Not me. Not normal people. You weirdos out there, shut the fuck up about Derich and stop harassing him, or I'm going to get you off my stream forever, and I'm not going to feel too bad about it either. In fact, when you ask for the unban, I'm going to write you a special email that says, ha ha ha, you fucking idiot. Maybe you should have acted like a fucking respectable human and not harass people. Okay, I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to say it to myself. I don't have time to write an email back. Okay.
DSP seems to be using the idea of, if I ignore it long enough, it'll go away. However, DSP has now made himself connected to Derich in such a way where, if Derich does end up getting caught up in something, God forbid, everyone would then start questioning Phil while he was defending Derich as much as he was. DSP has, several times, admitted that he watches Detractor content. From how he learned of the various things that Keemstar was apparently involved with, but couldn't give one credible or valid example when confronted by Keem on the spot.
This is fucking rich coming from you right now, though.
Yeah,
you're getting your information from the detractors that Keem has, and that's where you're basing this on. When this whole episode, you have been talking about how much shit your detractors have made other people think about you. Like, do you hear yourself right now?
Indeed I do. That's the nature of the beast. That's how YouTube works, man. That's how all this works, right?
Fuck, man.
To watching other locale detractor documentaries, such as one about Wings that he did for his React channel, and even recently, saying that if the videos about him were done in good taste, that he would watch the detractor content on his React channel for his weekly show.
You know, I've seen good videos kind of poking fun at me, you know, formal This Is How You Don't plays that are done really well. I've seen much better parody videos. These videos were some of the poorest I've ever seen. Like, no exaggeration. I wish I was exaggerating, but they were just really low bottom of the barrel content. They weren't funny. They were just stupid. If you actually thought those videos were funny, it's because you're an idiot. Like, they weren't well done at all. There's way better content out there making fun of me. So what happened was, you know, I watched those videos, and now people seem to think that, oh, well, this is our chance. Let's just make the whole show every week about Phil watching detractor content. Now, here's the thing. I am not above poking fun at myself. If someone nominated, say, a good This Is How You Don't Play video that had a lot of, you know, making fun of me how bad I am at a game or something like that, and it's pertinent and it makes sense and it's relevant and it's funny, I would absolutely include that in the show. There's no reason not to, right?
He's constantly saying that the documentaries on other people are truthful, but what is said about him and those associated with him are all apparently lies.
So I'm confused. Is the internet 100% trustworthy or not? Because when it's about me, it's all facts. When it's about you, it's all lies. I'm confused.
The amount of evidence on Derich for the things that he has said and done is beyond overwhelming. Even for me making this video, it was incredibly hard at times to narrow down certain points of discussion, as when I found one thing, with one click, I found 2 more points of discussion. Then, another click later, several more ideas to consider, so on and so forth. So for DSP to simply claim that all of this is just made up by detractors?
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
So this begs the question, pun intended, of why someone who deliberately breaks DSP's rules time and time again gets every type of pass from Philip Paul Burnell.
What's your full name, please?
Philip Paul Burnell. When anyone else would get permabanned for the most minimal of the fraction of the offense that Derich does on a daily basis. I asked this question in a community post, and I got some different ideas for what you guys all thought, and they all were quite interesting. Why I feel that DSP defends Derich has several layers to it, but the main idea I speculate is that DSP sees his younger self in Derich. Not necessarily the simping or the mental illness aspects, however, DSP isn't doing himself any favors when he recently answered a question about incest.
The next question. This one's gonna blow you guys away. You ready for this? Here we go. Listen to this question, everyone. I swear to you, you're gonna be like, what in the hell is going on? Here we go. Do you think incest can be morally neutral? Why or why not? The main objection towards incest is birth deformities. What about same-sex relationships? What would be the objection there? You can't say it's weird or gross because that would be an objection towards emotion and not logic. You can't say it's wrong because society says it's wrong. You can't appeal to society because society gets things wrong all the time, like gay marriages. You can't say society has progressed and evolved from incest because society's progress doesn't inherently determine moral neutrality. Moral assessments are typically based on potential harm or consent. So what exactly is wrong with two 18-year-old brothers or sisters having a sexual relationship, assuming there is no power dynamics that are at play? Yes, someone actually is trying to ask me, a random game streamer on YouTube, this question, and expecting that I'm going to have an intelligent answer. All right? However, are you ready for this? Here is my quick take on it. All right? It's this simple. On this planet Earth, you can do whatever you want. There's no one out there that can stop your action. What they can stop is the consequences to your action. Do you understand? So, excuse me, what they can't do is have consequences for your actions, what I meant to say. You can have any relationship you want on Earth. You could be in love with your brother or sister. You could be in love with a rock. You could be in love with an elephant. You do whatever you want, right? But then you have to live with the consequences, correct? And I think that's what a lot of people have issues with, is they don't understand how consequences work in life. So they think, is there free will? Is there not? Is there this? Is there that? Well, in life, you have to live with consequences of what you do, correct? Personally, for me, if you're saying you're looking for a romantic partner on this planet, correct? Does it not make more sense to find a romantic partner of someone out there who you have not spent a significant amount of time of your life with, but you find someone who's the right person and you have that time period where you get to know them better, you find out what your similarities are, what your differences are, you essentially find that one in a million who's right for you. Now, even that statement may be an over-exaggeration, because in reality, do you really think that everyone who falls in love is one in a million? Probably not. Probably, you know, it's people who they find someone who they get along with and then they want to spend the rest of their life with because they get along and they support each other and they love each other, etc., etc. It's probably not a one in a million thing, correct? However, when it comes to who on earth are we going to be romantic with, if you're someone you've already grown up with, someone who spent a significant amount of your time with, a brother, a sister, a family member already, right? Doesn't really have much meaning, does it? In my opinion, like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, of all the people who I'd want to spend the rest of my life with, it's not the people I spent my young years with. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I love my family, but for me to have a romantic relationship with someone for the rest of my life, I want to have someone who I went out there and I found someone who was meaningful to spend time with, who isn't me or isn't part of that core family that I've already have been forced to be with. Do you understand? Like, that's romance, is you find someone out there who you really connect with, but you've been through different life experiences, you've been through different things. Your brother and sister, you have not been, you're living in the same house. You've essentially had the same life, right? Especially your formative years. That doesn't make any sense to me at all, that people would want to be with someone who's a family member or anything like that. If anything, listen, do you like to get together with your family around the holidays or for special events or whatever, keep them close? Sure, you care about them, you love them, a platonic love of your family. But I wouldn't ever romantically fall in love with someone I was growing up with as a family member. That just, it doesn't even, that whole idea of romantic love doesn't make sense to me. It's not the same. You see what I mean? I don't think it is the same. Perhaps people are misunderstanding what it is, what romance even is, romantic love. That could be what it is. If that's the only kind of love and affection you've ever felt in your life was from your direct family members, then maybe that's why you have messed up thoughts in your head about romance. You know what I mean? And maybe some people, sadly, that's been their whole life. And they don't have a better situation. They don't understand what it means to actually romantically be in love with someone. For me, I want, you know, me and my wife, we come from totally different backgrounds. We do. And that's an amazing thing, that we bring our own life experiences into the relationship we have together to make a unique union. It's those different experiences that allow us to become almost a whole that works together. If we were people who grew up in the same situation, the same house, the same everything, you're two of the same person. How is that anything that's meaningful? You know what I'm saying? So, very simply put, it's, you know, it has nothing to do with societal norms. It has to do with the whole notion of what romance really should be or what it is. That's my take on it. But the thing is, you can do whatever you want. In life, you could have romance with anything. You could have romance with this Xbox 3 controller right now, if you really wanted to. I don't think anyone's gonna stop you. But does it really have meaning? That's the real question. Okay. All right. I bet that they thought it was gonna be really stupid. My answer, I tried to at least give you a decent answer for that, okay? All right.
However, again, completely in speculation, what I feel the DSP sees in Derich is someone who finds himself alone. Someone who is different, who is made fun of for his interests, who he thinks means well, but has a tough time being able to express himself. Someone who needs protecting and to be guided through life. And DSP maybe wants to be that person for Derich, so he wouldn't have to feel as though he once did when he was a kid. It makes sense for DSP to feel a special connection with Derich, since they are quite alike. Both are narcissists, both feel the need to be in control, with Derich wanting everyone to say his name right and demand to be told what to do, and DSP gaslighting his audience for them to provide financial stability for him. Both are incredibly delusional about the outside world's perspective on themselves. They both need to stay in their echo chambers for safekeeping, with Derich's mainly being Twitter. However, they both rely on DSP streams to feel comfortable, as they don't have to interact with real people face to face.
I'm here 6 days a week. This is my social interaction outside of my wife and the one day a week that I leave this house to do stuff when I'm not streaming. This right here, this laptop, this chat is my social interaction with the world. So that is me being friendly with people. That's, you know, as if you were, you know, you go to your place of work.
They both treat others badly, with Derich treating cam girls like shit and disrespecting the dead to be able to get likes from mattress actresses. And DSP disrespects his audience on a daily basis and treats them as though they are his employees who could not ever do their job right. Both feel as though that they have done nothing wrong, that they have done everything correct, as Derich sees no issues with what he posts and says on any social media platform. And DSP thinks that he is being successful with his business model, aka daily begging. They really do think that they're doing the right things, but they hate when anyone at all brings what exactly they're doing up for others to see.
But there's someone else who's ultimately responsible. And it's someone who definitely should take responsibility, but in a lot of cases, they don't. And I hate to say it, it's a series of bad choices have gotten us to where we are today. Ladies and gentlemen, the people that are responsible is us. It's our fault.
Both lack any true self-awareness and willingly show themselves for who they really are on social media, because that to them is their reality. As real people in person, face to face, scare both of them to willingly want to never interact with anyone else outside of doing so through a screen. Oh yeah, and they both love watching sweaty men grabbing all over each other in tiny little outfits to pin each other on the floor in front of thousands of spectators cheering them on. Because of course they do. I truly believe, at the very least, that DSP genuinely likes Derich. He has even said that he'd be happy to do something that he has never expressed with anyone else before. Actually meet Derich in person.
50-bit Bic cheered and said, would I like to meet Derich on one of my days off? I would like to meet Derich someday. That would be nice. You think?
He said this back when he was on Twitch. So Derich was around 18-ish at the time from what I found. And I can actually believe it, seeing as this is the age when he allegedly met Panda Lee. And this is DSP's usual response to anyone either mentioning being within the same universe as him,
and to the fucking piece of shit who does a super chat and threatens me in chat, how about you go fuck yourself, you fucking human piece of fucking fecal matter. You're gonna fucking threaten me in my fucking chat, go fuck yourself, you mentally ill, challenged idiot. Fuck you. Alright, Josh, you're banned now too, since you're gonna fucking be a piece of shit too. Fuck off. Yeah, I'm just gonna let people come into my chat and threaten me. Okay, yeah, it sounds like a good idea, right?
Or at the very least, wanting to play with him in an online game.
Paseo says, do you believe this playthrough would be better if you were doing co-op with other people? No. Play with others, play with others, play with us. Join the party, play with us. Join the party. Come on, friends list, add me, add. No, shut the fuck up.
In a way, I truly believe that DSP not only sees a bit of himself when he was younger in Derich, but he really does try to act like a father figure to him, for, if nothing more, than to maintain control of their dynamic, especially as DSP has addressed that he and Kat will never have kids, at least biological ones.
People make fun of me for calling it my family, that my wife and Kat are not a family. Fuck you. You want to talk about ignorant? That's the definition of fucking ignorance. If you don't understand that just because I don't have a kid, somehow I don't have a family. You're out of your mind. I know this sounds crazy, but listen to this. They told me many times over the years, oh, they kept all my kids' stuff in their attic just in case I have kids and I want to give it to my kids. I want you to think about how crazy that sounds. What? Why, if I had kids, would I give my kids the stuff when I was a kid? I don't want my kid playing with fucking He-Man figures from the 1980s. I don't want them using a stroller from the 1980s. Like, what are you talking about? I don't know. And yes, I see someone asking in the chat, yes, my parents are just fucking stupid. Don't I want kids? I'm too old for kids. I'm 40 years old. Financially, I'm not that sound. I mean, I'm getting to the point where I might be. Basically, I'm at a point in my life now where if I maintain the course of what I'm doing right now, I should be able to hopefully, fingers crossed, refinance my home within the next couple of years. And if I do that, then I should be all right. And then I'll finally be financially sound, but I'll be in my 40s. I'm not going to have kids. I don't want kids, first of all. And then on top of that, it's too late to have kids. It's not, I don't have the money to do it, to raise kids properly. There's so many people on this planet, they're like, just because I can have kids, I should have them. I've never been of that mentality. For me, it's, if I was going to have kids, it had to be within my means. It had to be that I know I could provide for those children and give them a really good life. I can't do that. I know I can't. I absolutely positively know I can't. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to have kids and then put them in a situation where we're struggling constantly and everything's messed up. Absolutely not. No, my wife and I have decided against children for various different reasons. Many different reasons, actually. Some people say, oh, is it because of you being an online content creator and the hate you get? Yeah, that's part of it. Not going to lie. That's 100% a factor. If I was a beloved content creator who wasn't harassed and constantly had people trying to ruin my life, maybe I'd be more apt to think about having a kid. But since that's the case, it probably wouldn't make sense to have a kid and have people try to make their life a living hell as much as mine, right? So that's one factor. But there's many other factors as well that have come into play, and we are not going to have kids. So could I have a kid and possibly afford to raise the kid? Possibly. My income isn't guaranteed. It's certainly not as steady as like a 9-to-5 salary job. At the same time, I've had 9-to-5 salary jobs that I thought were steady, and then I got laid off, and it ruined everything, right? So to me in my life, that kind of thing has never been steady regardless. This job I have as a YouTuber, as crazy as it is, and the ups and downs and the fluctuations and the changes I've had to do over the years, has been my most steady occupation, and I've made more money doing this than anything else I've ever done in my life. I don't really think that the money is really the factor, okay?
So it wouldn't be too far-fetched to think, why have a whole new kid?
You got a whole baby?
When he can simply just adopt someone else's kid as his own, and help him to become his very own version of DSP. But if Derich doesn't go ahead and change his ways, odds are, he'll just become another Skippy.
So, I just got done with work, and I swung by to pick up some groceries, and I was like, I'm not going to look at these again ever the same way, especially when she lives 3 blocks away from where it is that I buy groceries.
This is a surprise visit.
Yeah, no, I gave her 0 notice. In fact, I spent the majority of the day sending her messages saying, I don't get why you don't like me, essentially stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what, I need to, I know that we're gonna be friends for forever. I just have a crush on you, and I cannot get her to reply back in any form whatsoever of, do you even like me a little bit back? Which is probably a pretty good indication that she doesn't, but she avoids talking about it every time I bring it up, like, just wondering, just a little bit.
Open these.
Yeah, she does that all the time. So I thought, as a peace offering for having messaged her like 4 times today, do you like me, check yes or no, that I would bring by the Klondike bar.
We really did kiss. She and I kissed the one time. It was amazing. If you haven't kissed her yet, you'll definitely enjoy it. Go for it. She's amazing. Oh, now I'm rooting for you guys as a couple.
I said to her, I've got a yes or no question that I'm sure would be pretty easy for you to answer. When you and Dave went camping, did you guys have sex? That was the yes or no question. Is that not my place to ask? That was the yes or no.
We're going to take you for a journey on the color spectrum of how beautiful the sky is at Earth. I'm not going to answer that question, Skip.
Oh, that's what this is.
Because it's none of your goddamn business.
Consider it. It was the like seat, not a love seat, right?
Sure, yeah.
Or am I like saying like? Is that a little too strong a word? You think?
What about a friendly seat?
And since Derich has been watching DSP's content for at least 8 years, Phil has had a slight impact on him to be able to think.
I am your father.
And I'm sure that DSP will call this idea BS, since he has said before that Derich is not family.
Only Use Me Blade tipped me $1.50 and says, would you do a stream with your family cat, Derich and Jasper? Derich is not part of my family. You think you're funny. I'm not even going to read the rest of that because you're a jackass.
Oh my god. He walked away with it, he came back. Derich loves these toys. Derich loves any... Derich, Jasper loves the toy, not Derich. Derich, Jasper loves any ribbon toy. Jasper loves any ribbon toy. He always has.
So you mean this isn't real? One of the only things I couldn't truly wrap my head around, again, besides why Derich isn't in jail.
Now I like you, now I want you. And we can do it the easy way or the hard way. So the choice is yours, right? Booty, a man's butt. Having some booty was more important than drinking water, man.
Was with how Derich no longer supports DSP using his parents' credit card, something that Phil is actually aware of.
QA had done a bunch of super chats here, one joking about stealing his mother's credit card, which isn't funny, by the way. You shouldn't make jokes like that.
Why Phil otherwise treats him so well? Hell, OIC, I mean Jinx.
Jinx obviously was only iced coffee.
Shit, I mean Ryan. Ryan, everyone. It's Ryan.
So Ryan, Jinx, excuse me. Jinx tipped me $100 again. Again. $100 from Jinx.
With how much OIC has supported Phil, thousands and thousands of dollars both directly as tips, super chats, and gifted memberships, especially during his last Fez streak, giving Phil hundreds in one night during an Oblivion night stream, DSP remains rather distant from OIC, or Only Iced Coffee. It could be that OIC came out to DSP.
Alright, Only Iced Coffee. 27 months. 27 months. Re-up in the membership. Haven't seen you in ages. How you doing? 8 years of repression. I came out and start HRT. I have no idea what that means. But thanks for re-upping your membership. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Perhaps OIC is in love with Phil, which would explain why they simp so hard for him, giving him so much money, all just based on hope.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah!
Maybe one day wanting to replace Kat to be able to support Phil both in-house and on streams? Who knows? DSP is thankful for OIC's support, but treats them nowhere near the same level of how he treats Derich. DSP has been made aware of OIC being in Detractor streams and chat before.
Alright, so apparently Only Iced Coffee is saying he has talked to Detractors before. He hasn't confirmed that this interview is real, but he says he has talked to the Detractors before. Alright, so Only Iced Coffee, allow me to ask you publicly, why would you do that? You do realize that any word you would say to them would be immediately used for drama purposes. Seriously, like anything you say is always absolutely positively twisted for something negative, something dramatic, something bad. I think you're well aware of this, actually, which is what's kind of baffling to me, that you would still talk to them and waste your time and just cause problems for everybody, right? Because you know that's exactly what happens, right? Like, I mean, this is common sense talk here, that the moment you waste time on them is, you know, here comes a million fucking stories about it. Here comes things that this meant this and this meant that and this meant this. Personally, I haven't heard anything these guys are talking about or saying that is you or not. I can't even say, oh, this is you, this isn't, because I don't know. I haven't heard it. I don't care. I don't want to pay attention to it. But why on earth, right, would you be doing that? Do you not understand that that's just a pain in everyone's ass? No, really, like, not only my ass, but everyone who watches these streams, these idiots come on here and talk that, you know, oh, did you see there was an interview? Did you see that this happened? You see it logged me? No one cares. Seriously, we're here to sit here and enjoy ourselves and have a good time, right? That's what my streams are about. That's what they've always been about. We're not here for any of this bullshit on the outside. And let's be very honest and transparent up front here. Only Iced Coffee used to be a very huge supporter of this stream, right? Back when I was on Twitch in particular, he used to gift a ridiculous amount of subs. He would tip, he would contribute in many different ways. Then he was a moderator for me for a while, and that helped out a ton, okay? But so much drama got wrapped up with Only Eyes Coffee that it became such a hassle. Every day was something talking about him, oh, this and that and this and that. It's like, Jesus, man, like, I just want to fucking come to stream and say, it's time for gaming, it's time for fun, everyone, let's be chill. And every day you get these people coming in, saying all this stupid shit. It's like, dude, man, it gets to be so much. Like, I just want to fucking unplug from this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So Only Eyes Coffee, please, you gotta understand something here, all right? Personally, I don't care what you do in your personal life. I really don't. The best way to go about in life, all right? Mind your own business and keep my name out of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Why do I have to hear about, oh, someone was interviewed and there was drama here, this happened and there was drama there? I don't care. I don't want to hear about any of it. I just leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? Just leave it the fuck alone. Leave me alone. Let me have my chill streams in peace. I'm publicly saying it to Only Eyes Coffee. Cut the shit. Don't involve yourself with any of their bullshit. Any of it. The moment you say a word to anyone, oh, here's an email that I had, here's a fucking conversation, you've already fucked up. You've already made a huge mistake. All you've done is made pain and suffering and drama for everyone around you on the internet, and no one deserves that, right? What the fuck did we ever do to be dragged into this vortex of horse shit? Just fucking stop it. And you know what? If that means moving on and not involving yourself with my streams ever again, then don't. If you can't control yourself, then don't. Go. It's okay. You can go on and you have drama elsewhere and don't involve me with it. Seriously. Just get the fuck out of here.
Just as they did in Aquateal's chat during Phil's Chrono Tipper playthrough.
Oh my god, 2B is cute is here, guys. So, aka OIC is here. And look at this weeb shit.
I just noticed the same point disappeared during this fight. You know, it's sad to see.
Oh, OIC is in here. Hello, OIC. I don't know why you're in here, but okay.
OIC stopping by quite a bit, almost in a manner of taunting other chatters to be able to ask why they support Phil so much, and then jump to Phil's stream to gift memberships to piss off Aquateal's chat.
Oh, there it is, guys. 20 memberships.
However, Derich has been in Detractor chat as well. I mentioned earlier that Derich was in the Side Scrollers chat where Keem and Craig were made aware of his presence.
I'm looking in the chat real quick, and they mentioned one of DSP's biggest fans is in the chat. One of his biggest. Sorry, I just totally off topic. Yep. But I'm just staring at the chat.
Derich IP's in the house.
Do you have a message for Derich?
And DSP hates both the Side Scrollers and Keemstar with a passion. So of the two, Derich did the worst offense in that comparison, but somehow still gets the pass. But, something to consider, Derich is going to college now. And to DSP, now that he's an adult and may potentially get a degree, that means one thing to Phil.
I just care about money. I just can't help it. I'm so just enveloped in greed and money. I need money. I need money.
Thanks, Derich.
Derich then would be able to go back to supporting Phil. As with time, the whales have started to beach themselves, leaving the few remaining to carry the burden of keeping DSP from getting a real job. Phil may be pulling the same tactic that, for example, in high school, a girl asked me in science class, "Would you switch seats with me so I can sit with my friends before we're assigned our seats? I'll love you forever." Derich would be open arms for such an offer. However, I simply asked back, "What's my name?" And that conversation ended with the quickness. So, coming back to the original question, with everything now said and done, why does DSP protect Derich so much?
The world may never know.
And sometimes, some questions are better left unanswered since we may not be ready to hear the truth.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I'm curious to see what you all came up with. And I'm sure that there's several other theories and speculations out there. And I'm certain that many will consider my idea absolute bullshit, since I wasn't going as harsh on DSP and Derich on their dynamic. However, do I even believe my own speculation at this point?
Sure. What the fuck?
I would like to meet Derich someday. That would be nice. You think?
DSP, you recently brought up having a suggestion box thread to try to better your channel. And since you have banned me from your channel, I'll give you your suggestion here. Get rid of Derich. Disassociate with him. No longer acknowledge him or protect him. For him to actually learn and better himself as a person, he needs to realize that the real world is not within your streams, not in your chat, and you cannot protect him from real life consequences. With his track record of what he's said online and his disturbing interests, it seems as though only a matter of time before what is said and done online is taken offline, unless Derich seeks actual professional help. But with that being incredibly unlikely,
nope.
If you care for what little of your integrity and self-respect that you have left, get rid of Derich. The sooner, the better.
TSM, 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 TSM.